Southern Colorado's population is aging, and when a senior falls down, they're not calling family, they're calling 911. It's a cost with a price tag of more than $1 million to keep up with the demand. Here's News 5's Allison Zimmerman with a look at the problem and the potential solutions.
Colorado Springs firefighters responded to more than 3,000 calls for lift assist in 2025. That's nearly double the number CSFD saw in 2020. Now, with a county that has a population that's aging, it got us wondering, is this the best system in place? When you have an emergency, you likely call 911. For firefighters at Station 8 in southeast Colorado Springs, those emergencies can look like anything from someone with stomach pain to a crash where people are injured.
The majority of our calls are medical calls.
But this station also sees the most lift assist calls in the city.
The lift assist call is somebody's fallen and they can't get up. The majority of them are just somebody either that's working through a disability or an elderly citizen that is just unable to get themselves up off the ground.
We requested data through CSFD and found in 2020 there were about 1,500 lift assist calls made in Colorado Springs. It's gone up every single year, and in 2025 there were more than 3,000 lift assist calls. CSFD calculations say it comes with a cost of more than $1.7 million.
We're seeing an aging population overall, with the baby boomers and stuff. And so I think they don't have anybody else to call. Their families aren't necessarily around. Healthcare is a big issue for people these days.
Many people say, the whole joke of I fall and I can't get up really took on a little bit of a stigma for older adults.
Jason Diabueno is the CEO of Silver Key Senior Services in Colorado Springs.
So I think what people really experience is that, does this mean that I'm not going to be able to stay at home any longer? Does this mean that I'm not going to be in my place of comfort?
The state's demography office shows El Paso County's population is aging, and they're wanting to age in place or stay in their homes. Across the country, other places have seen an increase in these lift assist calls too, and have tried different solutions. Some cities have started charging for lift assist calls, sometimes hundreds of dollars, specifically at assisted living facilities where the argument is that they have the staff to help people who fall. A report shows in Decatur, Illinois, after they put a fee in place, lift assist calls dropped by 60%.
I think there's definitely situations where it goes into abuse of the 911 system. And we do have programs in place and people that can help kind of navigate them or find a better solution to their problems. And that's been really helpful with more of our chronic lift assist or 911 abusers.
In one case, someone called 911 for lift assist over 100 times in 1 year.
Engine response, medical incident.
CSFD worked with community partners to get them the help they needed to avoid falling in the future. There is also concern the number of lift assist calls pulls first responders away from other emergencies.
If we're on one call and another call drops, there's always that internal tug of war, you're working through whether you need to stay on that call to help them reach the best outcome, or if you could leave that call to go get another one. But yeah, it definitely puts you out of position and stuff.
Sometimes lift assist is just a trip and fall, or I'm trying to get into the bed and I didn't quite make it, I didn't quite roll correctly.
Many of the calls last year in Colorado Springs were at private homes and independent living facilities, not assisted ones.
We have many people that are choosing to age at home, and so they've got a lot more independence and may not have loved ones in the home around them. So if they were to fall, it can be a scary situation because they don't know how long, they may be there.
CSFD has done its own outreach at these types of facilities to make sure they understand when to call 911.
So if you fall and you hit your head or there's bleeding, there's clearly a reason to call 911.
Is calling 911 enough, or do there need to be more resources in place?
I think that's the challenge. There does need to be more resources in place. It does put a lot of strain on our crews when they happen to go. It takes 2 to 3 people to do a proper lift assist without causing injury to those that are assisting.
I actually think that there's another approach for falls, which is fall prevention, and that way there's a different way to think about not even getting to the point of needing those supports because it is a strain on our system when people do fall.
Both CSFD and Silver Key Senior Services have put in fall prevention programs. For CSFD, it looks like outreach to educate and make sure people can get around their home safely. For Silver Key, they also go into people's homes to help out and point them to activities to build strength like chair yoga.
One of the key pieces about being able to stay independent is to be able to stay flexible. Being able to stay in your own home means that you can manage your balance as appropriately as possible.
It's not just about prevention, it's also a matter of community. While people in Colorado Springs are calling 911, Dia Bueno says sometimes there's a fear of reaching out to family in these situations.
The reality is that they will become aware of this issue if you get to the point of where you need to be in a hospital or skilled care, nursing care. So please, please, please make sure that you're letting your family know if you have fallen and you're worried about that, and do not allow the stigma of fall be the reason why you don't connect with family and support.
At the end of the day, first responders say they still want people calling 911 in the event of an emergency, but it really does come down to that prevention piece as a community. In Colorado Springs, Allison Zimmerman, News 5.